was only a matter of time. Major insurance companies are using AI tools to systematically deny medical claims with error rates as high as 90%. Well, one state has pushed back. Will others follow? And what can you do to advocate for yourself? Let's welcome back Gus Anastopoulo, attorney and owner of the Gus Anastopoulo Law Firm. Welcome back.
Thank you, Layla.
This is sick. This is disgusting. Okay, so they're wrong. These algorithms are wrong upwards of 90% of the time. Why isn't there a human involved in this process?
You know, Layla, I was shocked by that as well. And those figures came from a recent lawsuit involving United Health. They were using an automated AI system to make medical decisions, and they found 9 times out of 10 they were wrong.
And this runs the gamut of all kinds of claims, right?
Absolutely, and so take Cigna for example. They had 300,000 denied claims over a 2-month period. 2 months, so that's a denial every second.
Oh my God! So when you're denying a claim, you're obviously putting someone's health at risk.
Absolutely.
Because they're unable to pay for the actual treatment that they think that they need. What about doctor intervention? I mean, are doctors also kind of hamstrung by the whole system?
Well, you know, Layla, so the thing is that the insurance companies, that's how they're going to frame it. They're going to say, well, we're not denying care, we're just, denying what we'll pay for. But like you mentioned, effectively, that's a denial of care for most people.
Sure.
You either are paying out of pocket or you go without treatment. And so, that's typically how they will couch it behind that. Now, the main thing is because they know that most people aren't going to appeal it. Roughly 50% of claims were denied. Guess what percentage of them were appealed?
Very low.
1%.
1%?
Yes.
1%? That's all anyone ever says. They don't pick up the phone and say, wait a minute, this is wrong. Only 1% of people did that?
Only 1%, and it's by design, right? And so they know they're banking on the fact that you're not going to go through the appeals process.
It's kind of a pain in the foot, right?
It can be, but ultimately it's when we're talking about literally life or death sometimes.
Sure.
You want to make sure, and ultimately it's more about being informed on it. So, when you get one of these denials, it's important that you first read very carefully, why are they denying the claim?
Yeah.
Does it include that cookie cutter language, or does it actually include, and by cookie cutter language, I mean, we don't medically reasonable, medically necessary. Does it say anything specific to your case or your treatment?
Yeah.
You also want to look for any sort of contradictions between what your doctor ordered and what the denial said.
So if you actually do appeal, what is the success rate typically?
So the success rate for Cigna, for example, 80%.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's an incentive.
Right.
It'd be worth it.
And well, at this point, when you have an 80% success rate on appeal, that was never a valid denial to begin with. And so, across the board, it was 50% nationwide on appeals right now. It's typically the first appeal. It's an internal appeal, so it gets appealed to the insurance company who does another review. Then sometimes they'll get paid at that point. Sometimes they won't. Then if it gets denied again, you have another step. You can file an external appeal to where somebody that's not affiliated with the insurance company will appeal it, and their decision's binding.
At what point would you engage an attorney?
I would say if you're having questions about the process, if you believe that your coverage applies and it's just not making sense, certainly reach out to an attorney. There's also plenty of resources and committees that can assist with the appeals process. But absolutely, I would consult with somebody that can help guide you through that appeals process. And
what about the State Department of Insurance?
So you can contact the State Department of Insurance if you believe that your insurance company isn't applying the coverage or is acting in bad faith, and they can also
intervene.
They can intervene.
Yeah. Okay. And then the actual companies, you had mentioned a few. Are all the insurance companies, are all of the health insurers doing this now?
Those are the only 2 that have been reported. I'd imagine others would probably follow similar lead, but those are the 2 that have been reported. Cigna, for example, has had 2 doctors that have confirmed these allegations.
United
as well.
Health.
Yes.
United Health is
one of them.
Yeah. Well, we know about United Health. All right, but there is one state that has pushed back, and they actually passed a law, legislation that prevents residents of California from being denied through these algorithms? Which state is that?
So California, they passed the Physicians Make Decisions Act, and essentially it eliminates it requires a physician to make a medical decision, can't be relied on solely by AI. Most importantly, it requires that it consider the patient's history and medical needs and critical considerations. It can't be based solely off of group data.
Sure. Okay. What about South Carolina?
Not yet. Hopefully soon.
Do we know if anything's on the books? Is anything we talked about in the Capitol?
You would hope so. You know, the Department of Commerce and Energy, they've opened a probe into some of these practices. So, you know, the skepticism is there because it's a real problem.
Sure, absolutely. And people here in South Carolina need their health care. All right, Gus Anastopoulo, for anyone who wants more information on your services, where should they go?
They can find us online, guslawsc.com, or call us at 843-310-5555.
Wonderful. Always glad to have you here.
Thanks, Layla.
Thank you. We'll be back in 2 minutes.